2.31, 2.31. That was good. Because that was an edge hit. That was hard because all I had was a little edge of that thing. That was good. That was good. 2.84. .39. Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I wanted to do a brief video to talk with you guys about clearing your cover garment when you're drawing your firearm, because it is now getting cold, and it's getting really cold right now because the sun is going down. I'm wearing my favorite quarter zip pullover that I wear all winter long. I will be wearing, I have two of these. No, yeah, two of these. I have two of these in 2XLT. And then I have one training one, which is an XLT. That was actually used as more of a base layer. But the fabric is full synthetic. It has a little bit of stretch to it, and it layers nicely. It behaves like Velcro, unfortunately, and it tends to pick up everything that I come in contact with. But anyways, it's just warm enough, and yet it's just porous enough that body humidity comes off. I'm wearing a 511 undershirt, short sleeve, and then a neck buff, or a head buff neck gaiter, and it basically covers just this portion right here, and it creates an insulation ring around my neck to keep cold air from going down. And if you can insulate this area of your anatomy right here, the rest of your body just kind of feels just sort of mellowed out. Whenever you've got a cold draft going down the back of your neck, man, that'll just chill you. It'll just like wear you out. And sometimes I come out here and it's drizzling a little bit. I mean, guys, no joke, I will drive out here, I will I will invest a few mags of training ammo, get my gun back in the holster, actually load it back up again, get it in the holster, and head back home again. I love to shoot, guys. I love to shoot, and I love sharing shooting with people. And one of the things that's a subject matter that I drag back out again is whenever there is a change in the weather, seasonal change in the weather, and your garment choices change, then you have to get back out again and start training again. This particular garment does not act the way my summer garments act. My summer garments, I can slap at them and grab a hold of them by smacking them. This one doesn't do that. You guys have heard me say this before. The summer shirts that I like to wear, and actually I should say this. People who know me, when they see me, they're like, you're always wearing the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, because I always wear the same thing. Guys, this is how I go to church. I have an exact pair of these, an exact pair of these, an exact pair of this, except I have a church version where all those garments, shoes, pants, and shirt, all those garments do is just get used for church. And then they get sprayed down with Febreze and hung back up again. And then when the next Sabbath rolls around, I take them off the hook and I put them back on and I go to church. I volunteer at my church every Sabbath. And I come home and I hang them up and I put on my EDC ones. So those of you who see, I'm not poor. It's okay, I'm not poor. I tend to buy everything in duplicate and triplicate, because when you're 6'4", and you wear a 40-32 pant and a 2XLT and tops, pullover, shirts, jackets, whatever, you tend to buy things, and 14 wide in shoes, you tend to buy things in multiples when you find them. And because we have now shifted into colder weather, now my pullovers have come out, and these fabrics don't behave the way my shirts, my summertime shirts do, so I've had to learn how to get at these differently. Grabbing at the bottom of the garment and pulling up doesn't always work, most especially when you've got a knife in the way. Those of you who've watched me for any period of time know that this is not the knife that I normally wear, but I've had to change the knife that I normally wear to this one, and I've actually got a new holder coming for this. This is a knife that was designed by my friend John Benner from Tactical Defense Institute. And this is, you know, your classic TDI knife. Actually, this is the Investigator. This is the new version. And I can't wear the one from RMJ Tactical anymore because the scabbard is too long and it tends to shift a lot on this. Well, now I'm exposing a lot of stuff. I have a new belt that I'm wearing that I'm testing right now. I bought this one from Groove Life, which are the people that make my wedding band. It's made of silicone. Just the other day I was coming out of a store, and the guy checking receipts at the door. I was at Costco. And the guy checking the receipts at the door goes, "Dude, nice ring. Is it wood?" And I said, "No, man, it's silicone." And I did that, and he goes, "Whoa." Most people will think it's wood, or they'll think it's bronze or copper, but they never think it's actually silicone. That's all it is, silicone. Well, Groove Life makes a very elastic belt that stretches this way, but it doesn't collapse this way. So it stretches like this, but it will not collapse this way. And it is, I'm telling you guys, it is suitable for use with firearms. Everything, now I have to back up. What happened recently was I was starting to develop hip pain. And over a series of choices, I started to narrow things down. And I finally got it to the point where I realized that it was a combination of where I was carrying my magazine, which was in the tech pocket of my pants, which is up here, and it was digging in really hard right here. And it also had to do with the fact that the belt that I was wearing, which is an ox belt, which I love the ox belt, but it was a little too rigid. And because I'm still a chunky monkey, so let me rephrase that. Because I'm still a chunky monkey, I have a belly that I have to contend with whenever I sit down, and the belt didn't have give. Nothing against the belt. I want to clarify that point. Nothing against the belt. I love that belt. I paid 60-something odd bucks for those, 50-something odd bucks for those belts, guys. Worth every red cent. You'll love them. They're great belts. I bought these belts at 60-something. I bought one for me, one for my wife, and they have neodymium magnets in them. And dude, this belt, the flex that it has in it, has alleviated a lot of those pinching points that I had going on my waist, and it now allows me to wear my gear without it digging in. Like I said, the knife is going to have to go because of its length. It was digging in right here whenever I would sit, and I do a lot of sitting. I do a lot of working at a computer. I do a lot of stitching of slings from a seated position. I do a crap ton of driving, so I had to figure out a way to remove things that were causing pinching points and go to something smaller to take its place. Guys, it is, whether you're young or whether you're older, although I'm getting old quick, I'm 49, I'm not old. Whether you're young or whether you're older, if you're young, you don't know this yet. Spandex children, you don't know this yet, but you will figure it out in about 15 years. Your body's going to start complaining for all the stuff that you're doing to it right now. I know this because I did really dumb things in my 20s to my body, which is why you guys will hear a pop every once in a while from my right ankle motorcycle wreck. And I'm paying for a lot of that abuse. So I had to realize that the hip pain that I had going on was because there were items, gun being one of them, digging into the inguinal notch, which pushes my leg this way, and I was waking up at night with a fair amount of pain, and I finally realized it's the combination of gun, knife, belt, flashlight, extra mag, and everything is pinching around this area right here, and it's really getting bad. So I had to change everything. But getting back to what I was saying earlier, the shirt, I've now had to change, well, and I have, okay, now I realize why I did the side tangent. Okay, when you pull up, there is a chance that you can catch a nail on the screws of your knife scabbard, on your buckle, on something, anything that's here. So basically, either it is your stance, you're going to have to modify your stance to have your thumb under the edge of the shirt, which unfortunately this is not a fighting stance. This is a fighting stance, okay? So it's a bit of a dilemma. The other thing is, to get, if I can't have my hand here, then I have to figure out how to cleanly get my hand under the edge of the shirt and up. I now know that the clear area is along the line of the femur on my right leg. It's no longer middle of the road like it used to be, because the scabbard on that other knife was absolutely clean. It didn't have anything for me to snag on. This scabbard is, I'm not that lucky with this scabbard. I have a different scabbard coming, it might help, I don't know, but we'll see. for this thing. So everything's had to change for me. Guys, the reason I do these videos is I want you guys to understand, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I am just like you. I spend my hard-earned money to buy things that I think, listen to what I'm saying, to buy things that I think are going to work for me, only to find out the hard way that they didn't work for me. And that's one more item into the bin of shame. So guys, I am just like you, which is why I'm trying to give you guys these things to think about now before you run out and start buying things that bite your pocketbook because they didn't work. The changes that I've had to now make are, to get the garment up, I'm having to kind of go at it here, scoop it. I have to have just enough of it to come up. And guys, instructors are always going to tell you the garment needs to come all the way up to here. Bull! Because the people who teach that don't actually follow that themselves. How do I know this? Because I've watched them. I watch them teach it. I watch them admonish their students to do it that way, and then they don't do it themselves when they're demonstrating something. Those of you who've trained with me absolutely know that I do not train that. I don't teach that because I don't live that. What I teach is get that garment just up enough. And you'll notice it's still partially over the gun. The hand, the shooting hand is going to grab that gun, and the gun is going to come out. Now, I want you to pay attention right here as I extend out. See what's going on? It's just underneath my grasp. My option here is 2XL regular, which ends up here when you have an almost 7-foot span that I do, or a 2XLT, which ends up here, which also ends up underneath my handgun. But what ends up happening is, as I push out, it partially comes out from underneath, but I now know, see, it's still trapped there, but I now know that that is what I have to deal with now. At this time of the year, that's what I have to deal with. I have no other way around it. This is my reality. I'm not going to be running around with my sleeves rolled up because it defeats the purpose of insulating my body and keeping me warm. Because I live in the real world. I don't live in the world where I have training clothing. I live in the real world. I train in my everyday clothing. Same glasses, same hat, same everything that I wear on a day-to-day basis. Today I was at the post office and I would swear to you, some dude who walked in goes, and he looked at me twice and I was like, that guy just identified me. Because guys, when you guys see me out and about here in the Chattanooga area, this is what I'm wearing. I'm not that hard to identify. So this dude, I had no idea who he was, but this dude was like, that's Tier 1 citizen. Okay, first of all, I don't think I'm Elvis. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm getting at is, I want you guys to understand what I wear here on these videos in training is what I wear in everyday life. I'm not preaching things to you that I don't actually do. I really, truly do them. So, in closing, when you are clearing your garment, get in a position where you can get just enough of the edge of that garment to get it up just high enough to get your sidearm out. It doesn't have to be a hyper accentuated motion or anything. It would be lovely if it were this, but it's not always going to be that. And remember, you don't want to make this a standard, because what if you're dealing with, you're somewhere, whatever the scenario is in your mind, you're somewhere, you have something in front of you that creates a little bit of cover for you, and you have the ability to do this. If you see a problem that's developing, you have the ability to do this. Well, now, because I'm practiced at doing this cleanly, instead of doing this, because guys, you've all seen this. You've all seen that body language, haven't you? I see it all the time for my students. That kind of crap. I actually know the people, there are two of them, who actually propagated that stupidity almost 20 years ago. I know who actually created that in our environment. Most people, when I ask them, they don't even know who these people are when I say their names. So guys, a lot of this stuff in the training environment boils down to, I can quite literally tell who you've been watching online, because there are a lot of superstar instructors who have hyper stylized movements that they do, and they stand out like a sore thumb. Guys, don't be tactical dude. Just don't be tactical dude. These are $26 Wranglers from Walmart. Don't think that these are tactical pants. I'll stop right there. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.